Hello. My name is Ashley, and I'm currently a senior data analyst at a nonprofit out here in the Bay Area, California. Today, I just wanted to talk about how I pivoted my career from public health to data analytics, because I've actually gotten a lot of questions, both in real life and online, just about how the process worked for me. I think it's a pretty popular field. So yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about that, my experiences, and all of the resources and stuff that I use to pivot my career. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, my name is Ashley, and I'm currently a senior data analyst at a nonprofit. I started as an associate level data analyst and worked my way up to senior over the years. I've been at my organization for a little more than 3 years now. So it's been a good amount of time. In my role, I do a lot of things that I think I would consider myself like a data janitor, just because I dabble in lots of different things related to data. I'm the only data person in my role, so a lot of anything related to data technology gets shoved to me. So data engineering, data science, database administration, that's all me. I create and maintain all of our dashboards and data sources. For our data warehouse, I query for compliance reports, progress reports, using SQL. We use Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse, so I've gotten a lot of experience with maintaining a Snowflake environment. And I am also in charge of our ETL pipelines, setting up OAuth connections and all of that. That stuff is a little more technology focused than I think a lot of data analysts do, especially in larger companies and environments. But working in a really small company, I think that opens your opportunities a lot more to do things outside of your normal responsibilities of a data analyst. So I think there's pros and cons to working at a small organization compared to a giant one with lots of data analysts. The con of that is definitely having a team behind you. I'm the only person in my type of role at my organization, so there's no one really to spot check me or to teach me things. I really had to learn things from the ground up. That's been tough sometimes, but also really fulfilling, because when I get something, it feels really nice. So yeah, definitely pros and cons to working for a small organization, especially when you're starting out. But yeah, let's talk about how I pivoted from public health in the first place. So I'll just give kind of a rough timeline of how I got started my pivot and ended up in my current position today. So yeah, I graduated during 2020, right when the pandemic started. I graduated with a public health nutrition degree, so I worked in public health-centric jobs when I graduated. And working at a hospital laboratory during the pandemic, I think really pushed me to open my eyes to more remote first, or at least hybrid first working positions, just because I wanted that work-life balance and not having to risk my life every day going into the office. I think I spent half a year in 2021 just researching data analytics careers, looking up people's experiences with pivoting and how the job market was. I did a lot of reading before I even took the first step. And my first step actually was applying to grad school. So I already knew that I kind of wanted to go back to school. I actually was looking into getting a master's in public health, but I kind of switched my focus from public health to data analytics master's programs, just because one, I wanted to pivot my career, and two, I think it was a little bit more marketable and transferable of skills. So yeah, I started my master's program at the beginning of 2022, And then I found my current job in the middle of 22. So it seems fast, but I did so much in that half a year of 2022 with starting grad school, being in classes, taking exams, and also applying to so many jobs and working at my current role, my current role at the time, which was a lot of healthcare stuff. So yeah, that was certainly a time in 2022. And when I was applying to jobs, this is one of my tips for starting out in data analytics, is just apply to anything that has a data angle to it. So it doesn't have to have the title of data analyst. It could be business intelligence analyst, business intelligence developer, business analyst, credit analyst, data associate. I saw a lot of those, especially for entry-level roles. And I feel like that just gets your foot in the door and helps you market yourself as a data-focused person, especially if you're coming from a field that isn't necessarily 100% data-focused like I was. And also, another tip I would say is never say that you have no experience. You can always spin the experience that you have. So for example, I worked at a hospital laboratory, and that had a lot of data-centric tasks to it, using an EMR system, Epic, pulling reports for providers, physicians, or progressing towards quarterly KPIs, working cross-functionally with different teams within a hospital lab. It's just really how you spin yourself in interviews that can really push you forward, especially for entry-level data analyst jobs. So yeah, never say you have no experience, because you always have some experience, unless you're super fresh out of school and have never done an internship or volunteer experience, because volunteer experience, internship experience, those are all actual experience. So never say that you don't have no experience. But yeah, even though I had seemingly a relatively easy time getting my first role, I think the state of the field of data analyst is a little rough right now. I mean, I think a lot of fields are rough right now. It is 2025 and there's many factors going on affecting job security and job quality, but it's definitely not the same as it was a few years ago, at least when I was applying and pivoting my career towards data analytics roles. There were so many boot camps and cash cow master's programs that a lot of people were getting into, and they were finding jobs really easily after that. But I would say that's not the case anymore. You can't just expect to pay thousands of dollars in a boot camp and have a job lined up. I don't think that's the case anymore. At least that's what I've heard from friends who have other friends who went to boot camps. So yeah, I think data analytics field was a little overhyped, and now, years after the big boom, people have flooded the market, jobs are a lot more sparse now. And I think that's a little similar trend with software engineering. They kind of went through a big boom years ago, and now it's a little rough market right now, especially for entry-level software engineers. So yeah, unfortunately, my experience, I'll tell anyone my experience, but I think it's definitely not the same field as it was a few years ago, unfortunately. Okay, as for technologies and what to focus on when you're pivoting your career, I would say just start with Excel. I think people make fun of Excel for being super basic, they dog on it, but it's so foundational to so many different positions, different roles, that you're gonna use Excel at some point during your career. You might as well get really good at it. Know how to use calculations, VLOOKUPs, things like that. Because yeah, you're gonna encounter it. It's unavoidable. So just get good at it and you'll shine. Or at least you'll look better than people with no Excel experience. But aside from Excel, I think knowing your basics of SQL is really important. A lot of people get intimidated by SQL because maybe they haven't had a lot of exposure to databases and stuff. But honestly, once you maybe spend a good dedicated chunk of time looking at the basics, you'll see that SQL is super self-explanatory. I think I honestly love using SQL in my current role because it just makes sense to me. Maybe I'll make another video with some actual SQL case studies and problems that I've encountered over my past interviews and past experiences, because knowing SQL when you're first applying to data analyst roles really makes you stand out, because it shows that you have some ground to be a data analyst. Lastly, I'd say being proficient at least at one type of visualization tool really gives you a leg up. There's many different types of visualization tools. You can even use Excel to make cool visualizations, which I think is okay, but there's definitely better programs out there like Tableau, Power BI, Looker. I mostly use Tableau just because that's what I used in grad school and that's what I currently use at my organization. But Tableau is a little expensive, so not a lot of organizations use it. But I will say, when you're starting to learn, Tableau is really great because there's Tableau Public, which is free, and you can see a lot of cool data visualizations in their Tableau Public community. And it gives you really nice inspiration on how to make dashboards and visualizations. Not just ones that are used in a corporate sense, but also creative ones. And having a Tableau Public portfolio can really make you shine in interviews. So yeah, resources that I use to get my feet wet with the data analytics world. I remember that I watched a lot of YouTube videos. Like I said earlier, I spent half a year just reading, watching anything I could about real life data analyst examples, how they got there. The number one channel that I referred to was Alex the Analyst. He has so many good videos, especially for people just starting out. So I would definitely refer to his channel to learn about how he started and basically pivoted his career towards data analyst roles, interview prep, things to look for, all of that good stuff. So that's a really good resource. And as far as career and general advice for YouTubers, I think Chloe Shi is amazing. She really helped me get through some technical interviews and just how to market myself in general, because I think marketing yourself is just such a big thing when you're interviewing, especially nowadays where interviewing is just a series of obstacles one after another, and you're just playing a huge game with all these corporations. So those two channels really helped me. And as far as other resources, I will admit I use Reddit way too much, just reading people's experiences and everything. So I would say all the data related subreddits were really helpful to me. r/data analysis, data engineering, data science. Even if you're not that interested in data engineering and all of that stuff, I think there's still really good discussion and pointers and people sharing their experiences on there that really helps you get a sense of how that world and that sector really is. So yeah, those are all of the resources that I would say really helped me. I think that pivoting your career is really hard in general. So if you are pivoting your career, props to you. It's really hard and scary. No matter what life stage you're at, if you're a few years out of college or you're midlife, it's always going to be a little bit daunting. But I will say that I love being a data analyst. I just love working with data and kind of paving my way within my own organization. As a sole data analyst, you really do learn a lot. I think I definitely made the right career choice. I do still love public health, and I think that is my ultimate passion, but weaving in data analytics with public health, I think would be amazing. So that's my dream. Let me know if you found this helpful and if you would like me to talk a little more about my data analytics journey, how I use SQL, how I use Tableau. Always happy to talk about that. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you soon.